Before you begin your comments, please state your name. Thank you.
Good morning and welcome to your Fort Worth City Council meeting. I'll call us to order.
Today's invocation will be given by Elder Perry Williams from the Holy Tabernacle Church of God in Christ. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the pledges of allegiance.
Please bow your heads with me. Father God, we thank you and we honor you for who you are. Thank you for this time of gathering together. And God, we know, God, that there's business to take care of. There's things on the agenda. But our main agenda today is to honor you and acknowledge you. For without you, we can do nothing. You told us in the scripture to trust in you with all our heart and lean not to our own understanding, but in all our ways to acknowledge you. God, so we come to you, Father, this morning to acknowledge you. Thank you for this great city of Fort Worth, in whom we was born and raised and went to school and even employed by. Thank you for these council members in every district that have given themselves to serve this great city. I pray for each and every one of them, their families. They have needs and they have desires and they may even be going through sickness in their own body. I pray that you bless them. I pray for the wisdom and the knowledge that you said would be the stability of our times. I pray, God, that justice and truth would be established. I pray, God, that this city will flourish. It's the 13th largest city in the nation. But God, I pray, God, that we'll be able to meet the need as the people come to our great city. Lord, as we walk down the streets, drive down the streets, there's a lot of issues to deal with, the homeless and various issues. I pray, God, that you give this council the wisdom and the knowledge and the resources to provide to meet the needs of all men and all women. Bless our mayor, God, as she stands at the helm to give direction. Bless her staff that support her. I pray, God, that there be peace among them, peace in this city, peace in this state, peace in our nations. I bless these young people who have come today, the mothers and the fathers, the brothers and the sisters who care for them. I pray all these blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
Mayor and Council, our first item will be items withdrawn from the consent agenda.
There are no items to be withdrawn from the consent agenda.
Items to be continued or withdrawn by staff.
We have one item to be withdrawn, and that is Resolution 24-4022.
Mayor, next will be speakers on the consent agenda item, and I believe we have two.
We do. Our first is Bob Willoughby, followed by Adrian Smith. Maybe not. Is Mr. Willoughby here? No, he is. Can you grab him? Thank you. And Mr. Smith is next. Adrian, just a second. I think it'll actually be Bob first and then you. Thank you.
And it's about, now, this will not tell you what's on the agenda you're talking about, and that needs to be changed so you know what we're talking about. Nevertheless, this is District 11. It's a foreclosure case. And I brought this up before. Now, this is not the case here. This is not the house. I'm using this for a sample. The sign that says foreclosure. I've asked council before, and I'm asking again. I'm asking, who's number 11? Oh, there you are down there. You're number 11? Okay. Anyway, if I was a council member in my district, and there was a lot of foreclosures in my district, more than any other district, District 5, I would have made sure there was signs put up when it was going on the market to bid, so the neighbors driving by could have a chance to know when this stuff's being foreclosed and have a chance to bid on it. They don't have time to watch that website. They got a life to live, you know? And if a neighbor buys the property, I feel more comfortable. They're gonna put something there that might be good for all of us, rather than a professional buyer that bids for these things only for money, and that's it. So I've asked, why not, like this sign, apparently they do here, there's one with a foreclosure, you know, so they say it. Some cities apparently, I don't know which one this is. We could do that here. And if I was a council member, if I had to pay for the money out of my own pocket, which I have, I put up my own zoning signs for 5 years in my area because the city wouldn't put up zoning signs. And so I've asked a lot of times for them to amend that to make that mandatory. They do it now, but it's not mandatory because it's not written, and it'll go back the other way in the future. Anyway, the only thing is I've got to say about our new council members, a lot of them have never been to a council meeting before, a bond meeting or a budget meeting, so they don't know what they're doing. They really don't. They're there just to fulfill the spot. I have no confidence that the council member 11 will take a step and do anything like this. But nevertheless, during election time, coming up next May, we're working on things. We hope to get some council members that will do stuff like this. And I kind of got off track. I'm trying not to get off track here, I'm trying to stay on track, but there was something more I wanted to say about this too. But that's the main, that's what I wanted to say. You see this picture here before you? The last comment meeting, my pictures were not shown on the telly. Just a little push them and they're off. Everybody else will stay on. This may not be shown on TV either right now. What's shown on that TV at home right now should be the same thing that people are seeing in here. You get that, Maddie? Because that's your job, Mr. Mayor. Maddie Parker, that's your fault they're not being shown up there. That's not Jack's fault, that's yours, on purpose. These little shenanigans you do shows your immaturity, okay? Anyway, also, if you don't get me for this, I understand that you're stepping down, you're not running again. That might not be true, it might be. No, you are? Beautiful. All right, thank you for your time. I hope that
Good
maybe
morning,
you'll do-
Bob. Thank you.
Good night.
Adrian Smith is our next speaker.
Adrian Smith. I am one with the people. MMC 240138. I speak to this particular agenda item for one purpose, and one purpose only. There used to be a point where we used to be able to speak to all agenda items, regardless of how many we were for or against, to have a say. But of course, this council stripped us of this. So this particular agenda item, like many of these agenda items, for those who have documentation to follow along, has a dollar sign attached to it. And I'm not talking about a small dollar amount. I'm talking about millions of dollars. And with this particular agenda item, like many of these agenda items, there's an initial, an amount contracted or given to a particular entity. Outside of that initial amount, there are renewals. And this particular agenda item has several renewals in the millions of dollars. So I bring this point up to ask this council, when are we going to get serious about the business of this city? The amount that's reflected before you all is the amount that they're going to vote on Just a single vote, no discussion. But taxpayer money, they just vote, no discussion. It's going to happen in the next, I guess, once I take my seat, you all will see it in action to the young people. So when are we going to get serious about the business of this city? It's time out for this wasteful spending. And let me say one more thing. I don't consider you all the same. Some of you on this dais, I hold in high regard, but I'm not going to speak those individuals' names because I feel like they say, one bad apple spoils the bunch, but it takes one individual to be a standalone, a righteous person to stand against the evil that comes from this dais at times. So I don't lump you all up the same, but that last gentleman you all just saw, yourself and myself, we were trespassed from this very place 6 months ago. But guess what? I'm back.
That's the last of our consent agenda speakers, council. Got a motion and a second, but I believe Councilmember Beck, you wanted to speak on one item, is that correct?
Okay, we're having some technical difficulties today. I just wanted to note on this consent agenda is money for One Safe Place, and I see Felipe in the room with us today. And I just wanted to take this minute to congratulate you, and I think it just shows what a partner the city considers y'all in helping support and curb domestic violence throughout the city. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Beck. Any other discussion, council? If not, please vote. Motion carries.
Next will be announcement by city council members, including approval of ceremonial travel if needed.
Thank you. I'll start with Councilmember Flores.
Thank you, Mayor Parker. Can you with the slideshow presentation up, please? All right, first step, on February 10th, we have a monthly chorizo menudo there at the north side in one of our beloved restaurants. We had the General Counsel of Mexico there, Francisco de la Torre Galindo. We also had Clint Ludwig of Tarrant County Elections speaking. We had a host of other speakers, including topics such as the Texas A&M Innovation Campus collaboration, Texas Wesleyan, and other community news. So thank you to LULAC, who helps support that effort. Next slide, please. February 15th, we all attended here on council, the Visit Fort Worth All Together Now annual meeting. Great news all around for our growing city. Mayor Parker gave remarks to that effect. So thanks, Visit Fort Worth. Next slide, please. February 16th, just fresh off Valentine's Day, our community center, the North Tri-Ethnic Center, celebrated community Valentine's Day with a dinner and a movie for the community. So very much appreciate the staff for doing that. Next slide, please. February 17th. I dropped by the Chuck Silcox Animal Care and Control Center to celebrate the retirement of two important beings, in our city. That's Brandon Scott Bennett, who just retired from his position as Director of Code Compliance, and Henry, our spokespup. So they both left a very indelible legacy and impression on Fort Worth animal control in our city, so they will be missed. And encourage everyone to give a donation to the shelters. They're in need of our support. I have rescue dogs. A few of us here on council do as well. Do your part. Those are worthy pets, and they need good homes. Next slide, please. February 19th, here on council, we all joined in the 39th annual MLK Parade and Rally as it made its way through downtown Fort Worth. So thanks to all the participants there. A number of high schools participated, as well. So we thank them all. Next slide, please. All right, just here this past Sunday, we attended a ceremony of solemn remembrance for our fallen firefighters in the line of duty. We had remarks by our mayor, Chief Davis of the fire department. Mayor Pro Tem Gina Bivens also placed a wreath there with Captain Michael Glenn. So just keep them in mind. They have dedication and service and sacrifice in the line of duty for all our sakes. And one more. All right. Just yesterday, we had a community coffee with Congressman Mark Veazey, who dropped by Casa Azul in District 2, also joined in by fellow council member Jeanette Martinez and Commissioner Roy Brooks. Some good questions were raised there. Appreciate the accessibility, from our federal partners. And that's all I have.
Councilmember Crane?
Thanks, Mayor. A quick announcement, hail and farewell. A farewell to Danelle Mason. Where are you, Danelle? There you are. She is leaving the District 3 office to go work for DJ Harrell and Development Services, so this is her last council meeting, and I appreciate all of your service and helping keeping the trains running. Thank you. Yeah. And then Jason, I didn't do a proper introduction to Jason Fellman, who joined a few months ago as my chief of staff in the District 3 office. Jason's right there. And then where's Christy? Christy Dole is now taking over as the district liaison in the District 3 office, and I welcome all of y'all to the office. Thank you, and thanks for all your service, Danelle. Appreciate it.
Councilwoman Bivens?
Thank you. I need to use that new term. I like that, chief of staff.
There you go.
I want to introduce my new chief of staff, Suzanne Oliver. Please stand, Suzanne. Welcome to City Hall. The North Central Texas Council of Governments, otherwise known as the COG. And for those of you wondering, well, where is Sandy? Sandy, please stand. Sandy remains with me. And yes, you can applaud for Sandy. In cases she's kept, my mic is still messed up, but Sandy is our subject matter expert on all things zoning, and I'm glad that she's still remaining with us. Joycia Johnson, who focuses on communities, is ill. Y'all want to see Joycia. Another recognition, Renee Michelle LT, please stand. Renee Michelle Goot, LT. These are the three staffers who pulled all of this together for us today. When it comes to getting students engaged, this was their ball to catch. They caught it and ran with it. Renee, thank you so very much. Michelle, thank you extremely much. And LT, good to see you with kids again. Now we'll get to the slides. I had a meeting in Mosier Valley recently, and I want to thank Joel McElhaney for being with me, and there's Sandy there as well. For those of you who don't know, Mosier Valley is where the first freed slaves settled in Texas. And we have built a park in Mosier Valley, and we'll be meeting with them again, getting their ideas on how to further enhance the park. Next slide, please. It was the 25th year for Technology Awareness Day at BNSF. That's Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railway. Because of this effort, thousands and thousands and thousands of students throughout the entire region have been turned on to STEM, and I was glad to be there with them. Also with us was Commissioner Manny Ramirez, who used to be a Fort Worth police officer. Next slide, please. Black History Month. We are still in February, and Fort Worth East Police Division did something I've never seen before. Police having a Black History program. What made it very special is that they invited all living retired African-American officers to participate. It was standing room only. Chief Noakes, I don't have your picture there, but he was there, as was the organizer, Commander Antoine Williams. Thank you for inviting me to speak with that group. Next slide, please. Again, with the fallen officers there, you see the mayor. It's a somber time because you really don't have a party when you're talking about people who lost their lives, more than likely in the line of duty. But Fort Worth Fire and the 440, you guys did a very elegant, dignified service, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of that. And finally, the North Texas Commission convened a summit on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we all walked away with the belief that in spite of what you hear, efforts to take away the importance of diversity, companies throughout this region remain strong and committed to having a workforce that reflects the communities in which they serve. Thank you so much. Those are all that I have.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilmember Hill?
Good morning. Let's see, that's February the 15th. I had the opportunity to tour the Covenant Classical School in District 7, and a special thank you to the headmaster who took me around the school. They've been built around several neighborhoods, and they've done a great job of integrating themselves and being good neighbors, so I was thrilled to see what their expansion plans look like. Next, please. On February the 22nd, I attended the Chapel Creek Neighborhood Association meeting, and a special thanks to Lauren Prieur and Martin Phillips, who attended this meeting to help with questions regarding traffic and upcoming zoning issues. And last, I don't think I have I do have a slide. So the 46th Annual Cowtown Marathon was held this last weekend. We had a record number of participants, 23,000. All 50 states were represented. We had 14 countries, and the course record was broken on an extremely hot day. So thank you to the Fort Worth Police Department, MedStar, the Fort Worth Fire Department for your help in making sure this was a safe event for all.
Thank you, Macy. Councilmember Nettles.
Thank you, Mayor. The first slide we have here is the Renaissance House ribbon cutting. The mayor, Mayor Pro Tem Michael Crane, and others joined us to cut this ribbon. It's development that's happening right in Fort Worth, where there's partnership with United Way, health professionals, and society, healthcare, Cigna, and others to give back to the community. This house used to be owned by William McDonald, one of the first millionaires, one of the black millionaires in Fort Worth, as well as the Flint House, the old Flint House. So we was excited about that ribbon cutting. The next slide, please. The awards luncheon for Southeast Fort Worth, Inc. And I think we have a star that's in that picture here. I didn't know he was gonna be here, Mr. Carlos Walker. I don't know if y'all see that guy right there smiling. He received the award at the luncheon from the Southeast Fort Worth doing business in Southeast. Next slide, please. The annual parade, there you see Roger Miles, Jeanette, and others that was there, Carlos and Alan Blaylock and others at the MLK parade this year. Next slide. The Sneaker Ball had a great time with Fort Black Metropolitan Black Chamber, stepping outside the box, doing something to raise awareness for the Black Chamber and getting people involved. Next slide. Had the opportunity to get the Richard Burnett Award at East Point Church of Christ on this past weekend. I believe that award was named after one of the gentlemen that owned the Williams Chicken. Is that Williams? Okay, Williams Chicken. And so it was a great festival, great event. Sort of the reason why I wasn't able to make the memorial service. I got a church late and then had to go there. So I give my condolences to all those fallen officers and forward officers, firefighters, thank you, on Sunday. Next slide. As of this morning, Mayor Parker, I am officially signed up
I don't believe it.
to do the Willie Walk with with Jeanette. I paid my $35, and so they said I'll be able to speak, so I have to be there at 8:15. So Jeanette is going to give me a wake-up call to get there. And so if you guys have not signed up and would like to walk at the Texas Westland this Saturday at 8:30, $25 entry. It's going to be a phenomenal time. I'm working on my gear. It's going to be something like the kickball. So if you want to come out and see me run a walk, come on out. All right, next slide, one more. All right, community conversation with Office of Police Monitor is going to be March the 26th. It was originally for today, but we had to push that back. We want to work to get our MPO officers out there so we have a broader conversation. So please save the date for March the 26th. You'll be able to hear from our OPUM director, Ms. Boncia. She's doing a phenomenal job here in the city of Fort Worth. And so come out, share with all your friends and family, and let's talk about what's happening in the city of Fort Worth. Those are all my slides. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Beck.
You're closer.
Great. I'm sure it's some sort of conspiracy theory that my mic didn't work. I think that everyone wants to come out to the Willie Walk, not to watch you run, but to see the short shorts again. So please don't disappoint in that. All right, up first, we have the Visit Fort Worth Breakfast. You see me there with Katrina and Travis Carpenter. This presentation will be the Carpenter Roadshow, as you'll see. I was excited to support them and serve on their board and the amazing work that they do to bring people to our city. Next slide. Okay, so thank you to the mayor who made sure that we appropriately dedicated this new mural in the near south side on the side of Carpenter's Cafe and Catering on Pennsylvania. It's Gather in sign language. It's the first sign language mural that we have here in Fort Worth, and so I'm excited that Katrina really wanted to make sure that it was accessible to everybody. And what's really special about those hands is that they're all specific to people in the community. So it's not just amorphous hands that the artist painted, but people who come and gather. And there's different street points from all over the city included in that mural. I would highly recommend, if you have never had her chicken salad, her smoked chicken salad, that you run down to Carpenter's and get some today, because it's the best in the city without question. Next slide. Had the opportunity to join some members of Fort Worth Fire Department and Fort Worth Police Department at Seneca Glass Studios in support of their Heroes Day, and to learn more about the programs that they have to help support veterans with PTSD and victims of violent crime and abuse. Next slide. All right, really special day in District 9 last week. I was able to attend the groundbreaking of the Vickery, conveniently located on Vickery. This is a $98 million project that's coming to the near south side. And so I'm really excited to see as that develops and we change the gateway into downtown from near south side. Next slide. All right, I was joined by my colleague, Jeanette Martinez, and we had this really terrible task of having to taste 18 different chilies. And so it was a lot. Listen, there was a lot of chili, and it was, we muscled through it. We were able to get it done, all in the name of supporting the community. There was some really great chilies there too, and that was for Ronald McDonald House. All right, coming up. TCC's International, our Women's History Month, March 6th. It's a program. It's free and open to the public. It's inspiring leadership, resilience for the future. So I hope that you will join me in that. Next slide. March 16th is the Easter Extravaganza at the Greenbrier Community Center. Ages 5 and under have an Easter egg hunt from 12:15 to 12:45, and 6 to 12. Ages 6 to 12, 1 to 1:30. And then those of you that are young at heart, just maybe sneak in there. Next slide. Okay, so we are doing our best to make sure that we are clearing the shelters here in Fort Worth. And so we have 3 pet adoption events coming up in District 9. March 16th at Acre Distillery. Again, I would encourage you, if you don't think you want a dog, just have a couple of drinks and then you'll decide that you want a dog. On March 16th, later, or the same time, M&O Station, so you can grab a burger and a pup. And then March 24th from 1 to 5 at the Maple Branch Brewery. Again, help you get a dog there. That's right. All right, Keep Fort Worth Beautiful Trash and Show is coming up March 20th. Don't forget that. And then we have, next slide, the Queer Professionals Networking event at Hotel Dryce on March 28th from 6 to 8. Please don't forget that. And then last but not least, we have welcomed to the Fort Worth Zoo 2 of our newest babies, Jamila the gorilla, which if you haven't heard is kind of special because she was delivered via C-section. And we're really proud of the Fort Worth Zoo and what they're able to do to help those animals out there. And then a new baby mandrill, Ruby. All right. That's it.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And Councilmember Martinez.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to highlight the Eugene McCrae Community Center. They have some really great community events on February 14th, Valentine's Day. I spent my brunch with the seniors at the center, so it was really great. And they also have an Easter event, their Extreme Extravaganza, which will take place on Saturday, March 23rd. I'm pictured there with District Director Rachel Arellano. We delivered some Easter baskets for the kiddos that day. Next slide. This weekend, as you heard from Councilwoman Beck, I was a celebrity judge with her and also the Fernando Islas from Paco's Mexican Cuisine and the chef from Smokeaholics and also a former Leadership Fort Worth cohort member, Jenny Barnett. And it was really great. I'm pretty sure we tried over 20 different kinds of chilies, and so it was really hard to rank those. But it was a wonderful event for the Ronald McDonald House of Fort Worth, their Red Shoe Society Chili Cook-Off, which happens annually. Next slide. I want to invite everybody in District 11, everybody in the city of Fort Worth to the next Court in the Community Warrant Forgiveness event. It will be Saturday, March 23rd at Saintsville Cathedral from 9 a.m. to noon. So if you know anybody who needs to try to clear out a warrant, and it's usually for traffic citations, send them our way to this event. Next slide. We'll also be hosting a District 11 Resource Fair, our spring resource fair at La Grande Plaza on Saturday, April 6th from noon to 4 p.m. We will have different departments from the city of Fort Worth represented, also several nonprofits and other agencies that provide free or low-cost services to the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanette. I believe that's the conclusions of our council announcements.
Council, next will be speakers on non-consent agenda items, and I believe we have one.
Adrian Smith on item 24-4099.
Yes, so in this particular resolution, 24-4099, this is in relations to the proposed roadway closure that's to occur around University Drive for the Panther Island project. For those who heard of that term, Panther Island, this is the city's pet project, you know. This is something they're trying to bring on board to modernize the city so it can reflect like other cities, you know, this look, this feel, this thing, you know. But I just want to say Fort Worth is not that city, because until we take care of the issues that occur in other parts of this city where the disinvestments happen, I think Panther Island would be a failure. And it's amazing that Panther Island is due to go online. And I quote, "Panther Island construction faces months of delays due to city contract challenges." And this was a report by the Fort Worth Report, Ms. Rachel and Haley. This was dated December 14th, 2023. Fast forward. Fort Worth councils a $70 million development contract in the historic South Side. What comes next? And again, this was the Fort Worth Report, Ms. Rachel, December the 18th, 2023. My question to this council is, the $77 million that's needed for Panther Island, is this the money that you all have trusting? It's very disgusting. And I truly feel that until we get the right individuals in these seats, then we're not going to get the changes that we're due. And again, it's not all of you. Some of you council members are new to this. So again, I don't put you all in the same basket, okay? But again, Mayor, since you gestured at me, please, by all means, explain to us what's going on with this. You know, because if I'm misinformed, inform me. Adrian Smith, you all. Check me out. I'm on Facebook.
That's the last of our non-consent agenda items, Speaker, Council.
Our next item will be on 24-4089, Board and Commission appointments from District 2.
Councilmember Flores.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council request your consideration to appoint the following individual with a partial term beginning February 27th of this year and ending October 1st of this year. Steve Hudgens, partial term, Place 2 for Building Standards Commission. The respective application is attached in resume is also provided. The original copy will be maintained in the city secretary's office.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item will be 24-4108, Board and Commission appointments from District 11.
Councilmember Martinez.
Mayor and council, I request your consideration to appoint the following individual with a partial term beginning February 27th, 2024, and ending October 1st, 2025. Stephanie Thompson, partial term, place 11 for the Building Standards Commission. The respective application is attached and resume if provided. The original copy will be maintained in the city secretary's office.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Gina, tap yours one more time. For some reason, it didn't pick up. Motion carries.
Next item, 24, as a reminder, 24-4022 was withdrawn by staff. So our next item will be Resolution 24-4099.
Entertain a motion. Go ahead, Councilmember Nettles.
Thank you, Mayor. I think this was the item that Mr. Smith just talked about. So I did want to make an announcement that you are misinformed as it relates to the Evans and Rosedale project. We had a community meeting about a couple of weeks ago dealing with that project. Also, Robert Stearns is here with the economic development. You can reach out to his office to get all the information you need. RFP is going to go out this week. And so the money that has been allocated for Evans and Rosedale is still there, and that project is going to move forward. So I just want to make sure that you know in the entire city that you have been misinformed. Thank you.
You don't have a microphone. Councilmember, go ahead, Councilmember Flores, and then Councilmember Bivens.
I don't have a mic, so I'm just going to speak up here.
There goes.
Oh, my
Okay,
mic
there
came
it
on.
is now. I still don't have a button, though. Okay. The raising of North University Drive from where the terminus point is, where it meets with Texas 199, just before that bridge going towards White Settlement, that has been discussed with the stakeholders and the business owners that would be impacted. That includes Fort Worth ISD, the go-kart place, and other impacted businesses like the Pulga. This is necessary. It's part of the Valley Storage that is part of a U.S. Army Corps of Engineer project. It is for the Central City River project. And that also connects in with drainage improvements on Grand Avenue. Councilwoman Macy Hill and I were part of that meeting and talking to the stakeholders, and we were looking at essentially two options. The quick option, which will take about a year's time to complete, is probably the most expeditious, and that's what we're favoring. That's what the stakeholders are favoring. We're looking at that for the implementation. And let me be clear about something. This is a U.S. Corps of Engineers project. The city is a partner, but the Corps is running this, and the Corps is paying for it. I've advised TPW, who is also as part of these meetings, to take advantage of the time to make roadway improvements, which would save taxpayer dollars. So that's the short end version, of this project. Again, the stakeholders have been engaged all the way. We're supportive of it, and certainly support moving forward with it.
Thank you, Councilmember Flores. Mayor Pro Tem Bivens.
Okay, thank you. To the students, this is what we call a teachable moment. You never need to come to City Hall and not be informed as to what we're going to vote on. Our agendas are posted online no later than Friday before the council meeting, often Thursday evening. But here's the deal. You can look up every item, and you can, if you know which council district you live in, you can look at those, and you can click a link. Click a link, and it will tell you all the questions Mr. Smith said he didn't understand. So I always tell people, reading is fundamental. And when you get an agenda, you can easily know what we're voting on. There are no secrets. And furthermore, this is where all the voting takes place. Before we get here, there is a work session, and that's where the rubber meets the road. That's when we fuss, That's when we lobby. That's when we negotiate. So there is nothing done in secret when it comes to a vote. So those are my comments. Thank you for the microphone.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Bivens. Any other discussion, council? If not, we can vote, please. Motion carries.
Next item will be MNC 24-0184 with report by city staff Lori Gordon.
Hi, Lori, how are you?
Good morning, Mayor and
Good morning.
Council. I'm Lori Gordon. I'm with the Park and Recreation Department. I'm the planning manager, and I'm here today to talk to you about the public hearing in regards to the use of parkland at Will Rogers Memorial Center Complex Park for the renovation of 2 barns. Okay. Okay, all right, so as you can see on the screen at the moment, this is the Will Rogers Park Complex. And there's going to be, as I mentioned, renovation to 2 barns. And so, goodness, excuse me, located, it's Lancaster Avenue, Rep. Johnson Drive, and Trail Drive, and by Gandy Street, and it's located in Council District 7. The project is, we're going to be having an encore easement added, and it's about approximately 1.24 acres of parkland. And so in summary, the site has been selected for the least amount of impact to the park. And it's also in accordance with Texas Chapter 26 of the Parks and Texas Wildlife Code that the council must find that there's no feasible or prudent alternative that exists for the locations of the improvements, and find that the proposed locations include all reasonable planning to minimize the impact to the parks. I mentioned that. So, and also too, additionally, on January 24th, the Park and Recreation Advisory Board endorsed the staff's recommendation to authorize the council to use this portion of Will Rogers Memorial Center for a utility easement. And also in accordance with the state law, the proposed use of parkland was advertised in the Fort Worth Star-Telegram on January 23rd, 30th, and February 6th. The information announcing the proposed use of parkland was posted on our webpage. Signage was posted at the site and sent via email to the registered neighborhood associations within 1.5 miles of the park site on January 12th of this year. Construction is anticipated to begin in the spring of this year and last approximately 260 days. No roads or trails will be closed, and the park will be restored to previous condition or better upon completion. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
Thank you, Lori. Any questions, council? Councilmember Hill?
I move to close the public hearing and approve MNC 24-0184. Thank you, Lori.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item will be zoning, ZC-24-006.
Calling Councilmember Nettles for the motion.
Yes, move for approval.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item will be MNC 24-0154.
Councilmember Blaylock, any discussion on this item?
No, move to approve.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 24-0181.
Councilmember Beck.
The zoo has been a great partner with the city of Fort Worth, and I'm so excited that we get to accept this, this deed for the Predators of Asia and Africa exhibit. If you have not gone out to see this new attraction at the zoo, I would highly recommend you do so. It is amazing and not featured on today's slide, but there is also a baby lion for you to go check out in that exhibit as well. So enthusiastically move for approval.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 24-0157.
Councilmember Bivens.
I have some technical language to read. If it wasn't for the attorney, I would not be reading it. It's very boring. It is. I move that the Fort Worth City Council adopt the resolution authorizing use of the power of eminent domain to acquire 0.666 acres in permanent sewer easements and 2.143 acres for temporary construction easements from improved property owned by Keith Kidwell and Samuel Gibbons. The property is needed for the Lake Arlington Lift Station and Force Main project, a public use that will construct public sewer improvements, increasing conveyance capacity necessary to handle projected growth within the Village Creek wastewater basin. The property is located east of the intersection of East Loop 820 South and Berry Street at 3501 South Cravens Road, 3400 Quail Road, and 6200 Dowdell Road in lots 1B, 2B1, 3B1, NP6, and 10B, 11B, 12B, 13B, 8A, 8B, 9A, 9B, Block 4, and lots 14A, 15A, and 16A, Block 6 of the Handley Heights addition in the city of Fort Worth, Tarrant County, Texas. The property interest to be acquired is described by meets and bounds and depicted by survey exhibits attached to this mayor and council communication.
Good job, Gina. Mayor, in a second. Is the attorney that had to draft that motion here?
Who is,
It's Mosley. Knew it.
Thank you.
Kidding. Poor Chris, he's playing his office. Like, why am I getting harassed? Motion and a second. Council, please vote.
It'll keep your toilets from backing up, is what it's going.
Motion carries.
Motion passed. Next item is MNC 24-0158.
Councilmember Martinez.
I move that the Fort Worth City Council adopt the resolution authorizing use of the power of eminent domain to acquire .034 acres in permanent sewer facility easements from real property owner owned by Monica Martinez. The property is needed for the sanitary sewer rehabilitation contract 100 project, a public use that will upgrade and repair the permanent sewer line facility. The land rights in the subject property are needed for the construction, operation, maintenance, and replacement of the sewer facility improvements as needed. The property is located at 712 and 716 East Arlington Avenue in the Hyde Park Addition, Block 4, lots 83 and 84, Tarrant County, Texas. The property interests to be acquired are described by meets and bounds and depicted by survey exhibits attached to this mayor and council communication.
Motion and a second. Council, any other discussion? Please vote. Gina's absent right now for this one. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 24-0173.
Motion, council? And a second. Any other discussion? Please vote. Okay. Yes. Motion carries.
Mayor and council, that concludes all of the action items for today.
Thank you, council, and meeting is adjourned.